Today we'll be looking at the area and circumference of circles. Now you may have remembered doing this in previous years before. The circumference for a circle can be found by doing 2 pi r or pi d, where r is the radius of the circle. D, of course, would be the diameter of the circle if I went all the way across. The area of the circle can be found by pi r squared. So I take the radius and I square it. Circumference is just a fancy word for the perimeter of the circle, where area is the space inside of it. So let's investigate what pi means. So to do that, we're going to solve this equation for pi. In other words, we want to get pi by itself. So we divide the circumference by pi. So you get circumference over the diameter equals pi. So you can say then that pi is actually the ratio of the circumference of the circle to the diameter of the circle. Now, you may have learned in the past that pi is 3.14, but that's just an approximation. Here is pi out to, I don't know exactly, but I think it's the first 10,000 digits. Pi actually goes on forever. It's called an irrational number. It never ends and it never repeats. So it does go on forever. Now, you are going to sometimes actually have to multiply pi, and we're going to use 3.14 as an approximation. So let's try some out here. Let's complete the chart and leave answers in terms of pi. That means I'm just going to leave pi in the answer. I'm not going to actually multiply by 3.14. I'm just going to keep pi as the symbol, and you'll see that in a second. So if the radius is 6 feet, the diameter would be double that, so 12 feet. Now 2 pi r, or pi d, gives me the circumference formula. So pi times the diameter is 12 pi feet. That's what we mean by terms of pi. We're just going to write 12 times pi and not actually do the multiplication. Now to do the area, the formula is pi r squared. So 6 squared is 36 pi feet squared. Pause the video and try to fill the rest of the chart in on your own. Let's see how you did. So the diameter is 15 centimeters. The radius is 7.5 centimeters because the radius is half the diameter. The circumference would be 15 pi centimeters. And the area would be 7.5 squared, which is 56.25 pi centimeters squared. Don't forget the pi or else it's wrong. Because what we're really saying is 56.25 times pi. Now if the circumference is 46 pi, then the diameter is just going to be 46 meters. And the radius, of course, would be half, so 23 meters. Take 23 and square it, and you get 529 pi meters squared. Now, if we know that the area, so pi r squared is the area formula, equals 196 pi, to get r by itself, I would divide both sides by pi, and pi cancels out. So r squared equals 196, and then to get rid of the square, you take the square root. So the radius equals 14 inches. The diameter is double that, so 28 inches, and therefore the circumference is 28 pi inches. So the diameter of bike wheel is 63 centimeters. How far does the bike move with one revolution? So if you think of one revolution, it's going around once. That would be the circumference, so pi d. So it's going to be 63 pi centimeters. Now, you're not going to tell your friend that your bike moves 63 pi centimeters. So we're actually going to take this and we're going to round it. So in your calculator, you would type in 63 times 3.14, and you get that the circumference is about, because we're rounding, remember, 197.82 centimeters, because we use 3.14 as an approximation for pi. If the sides of the square are 5.7, find the area of the shaded region to the nearest tenth. Now notice we have a circle with a square inscribed in that circle. So to find just the shaded region, I need to find the area of the circle and subtract the area of the square, because that would leave just the shaded part left. So pi r squared minus side squared. The radius is 4, so 4 squared is 16 pi minus 5.7 squared. Well, it says round to the nearest 10, so I'm actually going to multiply 16 by 3.14. So 50.24 minus 5.7 squared gives me, I'm going to type that in, 17.7 as the area of the shaded region. So anytime you want the area of a shaded region, you just take the area of the big shape and subtract the area of the shape inside of it. So now try this one out by pausing the video. And let's see how you did. So AB is 16. The whole thing is 16. So the radius is going to equal 8. So look there. That is the radius of the circle, which is 8. Now you have 3 half circles. So the area for one of these will be pi r squared divided by 2 because it's a half. And you can take that number and multiply it by 3 because there's 3 of them. So pi times 8 squared, because that's the radius, over 2 times 3. So we get 64 pi over 2 times 3, which equals 32 pi times 3, which is 96 pi inches squared. That's how we find the area of the 3 semicircles. Now, to find the perimeter, I need to find the circumference. So pi d divided by 2 because it's a half times 3 once again. The diameter is 16, so 16 pi over 2 times 3 gives me 8 pi times 3, which is 24 pi inches. It says exact area, so I leave it in terms of pi. All right, one more question. If the area of a circle is 95 square inches, so the area actually equals 95. No pi, just 95. Which of the following is the closest, so I'm going to be estimating, to the circumference of the circle? So remember the formula, pi r squared equals 95. Divide both sides by pi. So 95 divided by 3.14 gives me that r squared is about 30.254. Now to get rid of the square, we take the square root. So 30.254, take the square root of that, and you get that the radius is about 5.5. Now to find the circumference, I'm going to do 2 pi r. So 2 times 3.14 times 5.5. Type that in. And you get that the circumference is about 34.54, which is closest to B. So make sure you practice doing your circle homework. See how you do with it, and thank you.